Team here. Who else would it be? This is a meme coin video. Are meme coins back? This is going to be basically the main draw of this video. Something a little bit different. I've been taking a look at the charts. As you guys know, I do have a group. If you're interested in my group, it's called the Apex Trading Group. Go ahead and check out the link in the description. You can sign up there from there if you wish. But one thing I've been talking about with my private group is that for the past 3 weeks, I've noticed meme coins are starting to move a little bit differently, a little bit independently. Some of them are in profits, some of them are not. But it made me think, like, are meme coins actually back? So we're going to get into it. So that's the intro. Let's get started. So one of the reasons I kind of wanted to do this video is really twofold. First of all, I thought the charts are really starting to shape up as far as meme coins go. I'm not necessarily saying that they're profitable, but I think some of them definitely are. Like Bongo went up 200%. We talked about that in our private group. Bonk went up about 20%. There's a lot of other coins that went up pretty well. But the other reason is, like, 3 months ago, I was hearing like meme coins are dead. Like it was a really weighty conversation that people were having for many weeks, is that meme coins are dead. And that still seems the case on online. Like, a lot of people are just not talking about meme coins anymore, which is really interesting because I want to take a look at CoinGecko and kind of see how are they performing versus other coins. So first things first, I got the market cap. I'm gonna a lot of times like the market cap isn't gonna be a filter necessarily, but I'm gonna filter in other sections here just a second. But I want to mention here is that your top section here is smart contract platforms, but your rank 14 is the meme coins, and I think that's very important. So it's still relatively low. It is up about 23%, and out of these 14, like, this is the highest ranking one. So let's put the meme coins at the lowest, or at the bottom of the screen here. 23%, okay. The highest one after that was about 15. Okay, so it's doing is about 50% more, I should say, than the other one, which would be DeFi. And I'm actually quite surprised DeFi is doing well too. It's kind of what you want, actually. Proof of stake is actually doing not bad. There's a couple 10s, 11s, but meme coins are doing pretty consistently here. In fact, and if you keep scrolling here, you get one that's very, maybe about 25%. Okay, but it's doing pretty good. You got Binance doing really well. But if we go back up to here to about 23, like, out of the top 22 categories, meme coins are the top performing asset for the past week. And so, no, I'm not just making something up. This is statistically seems like this is the case. Now, I also wanted to filter to the 7-day here and look at this. And from AI memes, it's actually ranked about number 6 here at about 41%. And then is the regular memes on here? Yes, it's ranked down here just a little bit. But as far as the top, let's see. You kind of scroll up a little bit, go back up to like 30 range, and so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's only like 11 that are 30 or higher, and so it's relatively close to that range. So overall, like, it's still a little bit lower, but I think this is still worth something quite a bit, because if you look at some of these other higher performers like analytics, I don't even know what coins are in analytics necessarily. I mean, I could probably guess a couple of them. But see what I'm saying? Like, you got AI agents, which are, of course, gonna be good. Like side chains, like frog themes are doing pretty good. Okay, a little bit better. And I would even consider frog theme technically meme coin. Some of them may not be, but some of them certainly would be. Cat theme is going to be meme coins as well. See what I'm saying? And so out of all these, you got Solana meme here is fourth. AI memes is fifth. So you got two memes, right? And so you got frog theme. I would consider that another meme coin. So that's three. Cat theme is four. Um, and then anyway, you get the idea. So five, right? So they're all over the place. Okay, and now I don't know if it's fair to put all the other meme coins the subcategories into the meme category, because they're probably all the same. There's probably gonna be some overlap, right? But I really think that that's worth mentioning. And so, based off of just Coinbase statistics, I do think this is the case. Now, I actually also want to go, excuse me, to the total volume here, because meme coins is also ranking high on the total volume as well. And so this is actually the meat of what I want to show you on CoinGecko, is that although Solana memes are higher in ranking, like market cap, regular memes are actually getting the volume. Okay, and you have about 4.2 billion here versus about 8.8 billion almost, and so you have you have about double the volume. And of course, there's gonna be more coins because there's about 4,500 coins here versus 1,300, and that brings up a good case for multiple reasons. One, relative volume for meme coins as a whole is high. Okay, now that's also not fair to say because it has more coins, so that's going to give you more volume. Okay, and so this is the only category on the main list on my screen that has more than 1,000 coins here. Okay, um, at least it's the highest one, I should say. But this also says something about Solana memes, because Solana memes are doing pretty good for only having maybe 1/4 of that coin list, and they have about half the volume. So that means Solana meme coins are weighted much more than memes as a whole. And so I'd say it's probably to the factor of two. Just kind of, thinking off the top of my head, it's probably a little bit less than that, like 1.8, but it's probably I find that very interesting because statistically Solana meme coins are pulling much more weight than Ethereum meme coins. And that makes sense because Solana is performing better than Ethereum. And so I just kind of give you an idea here. I mean, Dog Theme is doing pretty good considering its list. But like I said, this is the first section here of the CoinGecko. So I really wanted to emphasize, like, meme coins are performing really good. Now, that goes back to the title of this video. Are meme coins back? Now, I think that's a little more nuanced. I do think meme coins are definitely having an impact right now, but are they permanently back? I'm going to give a little bit of look here in the charts, and we'll kind of walk through this together to see if we can come up with the same conclusion. All right, so now we are on TradingView here. This is the weekly time frame. So what I got here on this chart is it's a made up index, but it's an index of the top 4 meme coins. And so that's Dogecoin, SHIB, and I'm quite surprised SHIB is still up there, Pepe, and Bonk. And so now this covers a few different things. 3 of these are going to be Ethereum coins, by the way, which is funny because Ethereum has a lot of the market share as far as market cap meme coins, but Solana has the more volume. So I thought this was a relatively healthy weight. It gives you something like Dogecoin, which is more of a legacy meme coin. SHIB and Pepe are more like interim from previous cycle, pretty much. And Bonk is relatively new. It was around last cycle, but it's gained new traction with newer newer people. If you ask someone what their favorite meme coin is and they say Bonk, chances are they're from this cycle, not from last cycle. And so I wanted to put these together. I divided them by 4 to kind of even this out. And so what I want you to see here is that we'll go to daily here in a second also, but on the weekly, you have your high up here, you have your low down here. And at the mid range, we had a drop down when we deviated back up. Those of you that are in my private group know that I'm just obsessed with deviations. And because that gives me the blueprint on what to expect. If something goes back down and loses a level and it reclaims that level very quickly, that's a sign that the drop down was actually a fake drop down. And the reclaim is actually the real reclaim. I've got no reason to think otherwise. And most of the time, about 95% of the time, that tends to be the case. And you can try to profit off of that. And so we can see here that it retested just a little bit. It broke below the mid, but still with inside the range. And then we broke upwards. And this is where we're at now. It's holding the mid range. Aaron has a very wide gap, 85% on a bullish consolidation. This is pretty good. Okay, the last time that we had that was we were getting ready to curl up to the upside. And so this is exactly what we're getting right now. This here on the green is technically a buy signal. It's not typically viewed that way. It's more of a sign of liquidity that within these 2 levels here, these lines horizontally, that means the coins as an index are becoming less liquid. And when things become less liquid, in my determination, that means that we typically reverse or we do a mean reversion and then we bounce to the upside, which is exactly what we got. Okay, didn't quite get this here. Doesn't always work necessarily, but it's just I use it more as a guide. Okay, and so RSI is trying to come back up to the 50 range. Hasn't quite yet, but overall this is pretty good. With the band I have here, the blue and the gray, we're looking to come back here to about 5 cents even. We'll see if we can get that. It's not too far away from that. And again, this doesn't tell us much on the index, but that's about a 12% move. So I do think that we're going to continue to get that, at least get that 12%. Now, I want to go to the third day here. This is where it gets a little complicated because I do have buy signals here, sell signals, but we had a divergence here, a bullish divergence. I thought that was very interesting. Okay, so to be honest with you, I don't know how this works on an index necessarily, one that I basically made up. But I thought this was interesting because according to the analysis, it just works fine. I didn't search for this. It just kind of came up when I looked at the top 4 coins. And I'm willing to bet that this is going to be a continued theme. In the third part of this video, we're going to go through individual coins to kind of see if that is the case. And so now I have the deviation here at the lows. It went above my band, which is a good sign. It hasn't turned blue yet, so we got to wait for that. Have a small bullish consolidation, not quite as big as the weekly, roughly about 30% between that. RSI is trying to go above 50, so this is still looking pretty good to me. And what this tells me is that we are pushing against the mid-range. The mid-range is very important because it shows very, in a very simple sense, the fight between supply and demand. And so if we can bounce at the mid, that's pretty good here. That tells us that there is an overall interest between this entire move. A lot of people look at this differently. A lot of people look at volume profiles or heat maps or things like that. I don't. I just look at things as an entire level because it's very simple. Like you don't need to get, super detective on this. Okay. And most of the time a fib block like this will suffice. And so getting that aggressive push, I like that because it's a sign that things are probably going to go more bullish here. Let's go ahead and go to the daily. Kind of get this up a little bit here. Now this here, it actually turned blue, which means the errand is bullish here. It also went above the 50. So I actually quite like this. The push above the past few candles makes me think this is pretty good. That I think this rally that we saw in CoinGecko should continue. And so something like this is what I'm looking at. I would put my stop loss here at the lows. So nothing too exciting, just a little 2.5 R trade for 71%. But this makes me think that we're going to rally here. I don't think we're going to rally super hard just yet. 71% is not that much as far as high time frame. Sorry, I'm kind of starting to stutter. I sometimes have a stutter, so apologies. But I think that's still beneficial. Because we are in a market condition where nobody wants to believe everything. Everybody thinks that we're going down. Big Short 2.0, 3.0, 5.0. Everybody thinks everything's going to crash. And I do have another video coming out where I think that is completely incorrect. And I'm going to give charts as to why that's the case. I'm going to look at bond yields. I'm going to look at housing markets. And I'm going to use basically other people's data, the data that people think the markets are going to crash, and I'm going to use that as a way to say that they're not. So very interesting. I'm still kind of letting that brew and settle a little bit. Stay tuned for that. But as far as this goes, I think this is working pretty decent so far. So anyway, that's the index. But let's go ahead. I'm going to go into some individual meme coins. That way we can kind of analyze them together. Maybe you see one that you like, because I'm going to look at some longs and shorts and see, maybe just longs, and just see which ones are doing well and which ones are not. So let's go ahead and look at all the charts individually. All right, so first things first, I'm going to go down to Dogecoin. I'm going to skip Trump coin. I think Trump coin is worth looking at, kind of. Well, actually, maybe we'll just discuss it here. It's kind of getting a push up above the zone here. I think there was something about a token unlock, so I'm not quite sure what that's going to do, but it is pushing up pretty good here. It's not, this is reclaimed from this lower level here at about 950, but it still needs to get above this bigger reclaim here at about 1330. So this is not doing too bad overall. And so that's one thing to consider. I would classify Trump coin as a meme coin, and so it doesn't look too bad. And you can look at things like XRP, for example, that aren't a meme coin. Still a little sluggish here. I think it could trend here. And I'm just kind of using this as an example. So, but it's still below the trend here. Not necessarily anything aggressive. Don't particularly like that one. Let's go ahead and go to Dogecoin as we intended to. I do have a position looking here on this very similar to the index we talked about, probably because Dogecoin is the highest of those four. But this is kind of pushing above the zone. Looks like we're going to tag the next resistance here at about 24.5. Okay, and all the stats are on the chart if you're interested in that. Bonk, I'm going to kind of spitfire these two. Bonk is up 3%. This is actually a long signal that we looked at in our premium group where it's almost complete actually. But this is a good sign overall because I don't think this is necessarily done because you could view all of this as its own order block. And so I'm going to go ahead and go to a different chart and go to like Binance, let's say. And so here's your chart, held below or above the zone, I should say, double bottom, or however you want to refer that as. People say different things. Here is your order block flip. It's flipping against the zone already, and this is going to be well on its way to try to go up. Now, how do I quantify that? And so what I'm really going to do is take this entire level, very easy. Don't have to look at any volume profiles. Okay. I'm not making fun of anybody that does that, by the way. It's just find this a little easier. And so this is our level here at about 27.31. Okay, and so if this closes here on the daily, stop loss here below the level, take profit here at the mid. You got a very nice 3.4 at about 68%, and that's very similar to that 71% that we looked at. So I think again, I think that it matches up in my opinion. So let's go ahead and go down the list. Let's see if we can find some other meme coins. I should have marked these out previously, but we will just take a look. And so I think WEN token was one of them. Get rid of this here. And so WEN token was a free airdrop. Basically, if you just use Solana, you would be able to do it. So this one's not as exciting here. And so I do want to mention that so for a few different reasons. One, the gap here is pretty good for a bullish consolidation, but there's no follow through yet. It needs to get above like the 3,730 sats. Still some time. Honestly, it needs to get above here about 5,300 roughly. RSI is still low, but this is a sign that not all meme coins are going to qualify. And so I do want to mention that. Do I think meme coins are back as a whole? Yes, I do. I actually think that they never left. I just think that that's kind of how it always has been. Meme coins do tend to fall apart much faster, and that's the thing. People try to hold on meme coins for several years, and that's not how they should be viewed. They should be viewed as taking profits, walking away from them, and then if there's an interest, you buy them back. Now the problem with WEN is there's no necessarily interest in this. Okay, there's no follow through. It needs some sort of reclaim or some sort of conviction. Now, if your conviction is just, hey, I like it, I'm going to buy it, that's fine. But this is my conviction line here. It needs to get above that 52 or 5,300. So WEN, not so much, but the other ones are looking pretty good. Dog with Hat was one that we talked about before. This is a position that I have marked out. I'm going to, maybe I'll just look at a different, I think I need that actually. So, you know what? I'm just going to get rid of that here. And so with this, I think it looks pretty good because you had a bullish breaker clear as day right here at about 38 cents or 40 cents, 41 I should say, and it bounced up here. It did pretty well on the 3-day. I think we do have a divergence here, just barely, but it was one, and so this is another indication of what I'm looking at. I think Dog with Hat looks great here, and so I do think based on the chart that I showed you. Or I had on the chart, I think getting to 140 is going to be good. I think that's roughly about, not quite, was it? Well, I guess I can just point it out to you. See, 140 here is about 143%. Okay, so I think that's pretty easy to achieve. I think that's realistic as well. So I think another one is Pepe. Now, this is a weekly level. This was on the chart before. This is one where this is going to be a little bit different. Your fib retest is going to be right here. So we're not quite above that yet, but we did get a deviation reclaim. So this is something to be interested in. I don't think Pepe is necessarily as good as the other ones, but it's not bad either. Another way we can look at it is like so, still kind of below the reclaim. It needs a little bit of effort, but I still think it is worth something. It is above here on the daily, so keep that in mind. I think that looks decent. Not the best, but decent. FOXY is another one, kind of like WEN, that's gone down a little bit. And so it's going to give you a little more trouble. You can tell based off of this, there's not a lot of interest in this either. So this might be, we might be in a situation where a lot of main meme coins are going to be performing better, and I think that seems to be the case. With Dogecoin and Bonk and WIF doing better than some of the other ones. So we're going to look at POPCAT here, and this is one that I think is a little bit interesting here. Kind of reclaimed above the zone. Looks good at resistance here. I think it might come down a little bit, but I like this. I like the fact that it reclaimed above this level. It's going to probably start getting more aggressive on that, and that's what you want when you're looking for a profitable trade. Excuse me. We're going to go to MYRO. This one's not too bad. Very similar to WIF a little bit. It needs to get above the reclaim zone here, like 3.5, 3.6. But this is looking pretty good. Actually looking better than I think it probably should, given that it's a lower level meme coin. But it's not looking too bad. Something like this, 278% at 3.55 R. Not too bad. I quite like that. Let's go ahead and go to, but see, you got things like Eigenlayer that are down like below $1. This is embarrassing. And I think this is what I really want you to see. A lot of people were making fun of meme coins. Okay, but I was a part of the Eigenlayer node thing. I got paid through it. And I get paid much, like $500. But Eigenlayer was supposed to be the de facto project that everybody was interested in, and it's just failed. And so it, even now it's still 80% below its level. Okay, and so how much has it done from the lows, I should say? So 43, not bad. But we'll see. It hasn't it kind of did a little bit of reclaim, so we'll see how this goes. This needs to perform better. But you see how something like this looks versus something like WIF that looks a little bit better, reclaim the level. See what I'm saying? PopCat definitely have moved. See what I'm saying? So like meme coins have performed a little bit better here. Let's go ahead and go to FLOKI. FLOKI is one where kind of did like a whiff situation here. Retested the zone, kind of coming back. Looks like this is just going to be a retest unless it breaks, but not too bad. How much did this go off the lows? It's like 51%. So very similar to Eigen, I should say. So FLOKI's not doing too bad. Now Bongo is very interesting because Bongo went up pretty significantly recently for those 2 days. It went up about 300%, right? And so we actually got in roughly around here, just a little bit down here. So we got about 365%. This is looking pretty decent. I think this is going to come down a little bit. Got a little chicken scratch on here, but we're still between these two levels. We'll see. I think it's going to do something like this, where it's going to kind of fade a little bit and then reclaim. So you need to look out for that. But overall, I still think this looks really, really good. And that just shows you, I don't know what was up about Bongo to go up that high. It wasn't me, because we talked about it we were talking about it really in this area here. And so we did wait very patiently for that one. But it's yeah, we'll see how that goes. And I think that might be it. I think there's some meme adjacent ones in the AI sector, but I'm going to not focus on those, although they are performing decent. So anyway, that gives you an idea of what you're looking at. Overall, I think things look pretty good here. But what do you think? What do you think about the meme coins? I think they look pretty solid. I think a lot of Solana ones look good. There's some Solana ones that don't look good, but overall, I think there's some activity here, and I like what I see. And if they continue to perform well, I'll continue to talk about them. But let me know what you think. I'm happy to discuss things more. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.